In order for this video to make sense to you, you're going to have to be smart. If you are not smart, you need to scroll the fuck away. If you are going to type with your emotion, scroll the fuck away. There has been a large discussion about andropause, and as someone that works in OB-GYN and was in bodybuilding that actually took testosterone, we have a lot to unpack here. Andropause is the decline in testosterone that men start to experience at the age of 30. Decade by decade, they have a decline in their testosterone. This causes things like anger, irritability. It causes a lot of frustration in men when they are having their testosterone be reduced as they get older. What we are not talking about is the fact that this is an evolutionary sign that men were not created to live that long. In Neolithic times, men came in and they were summoned in to procreate, and they were unalived after they facilitated in that process. If you look in the animal kingdom and other species of animals, this is a common thing. Male bees die after they end up mating with a female bee. A female spider unalives the male spider after they have mated, because men are only here for this reason. This is also why men that self-delete, this usually happens around their 40s. I believe they say anywhere between 45 to 66 is the peak amount of time where men self-delete. This is also where we come into the discussion of us having a male surplus. This is also the reason why statistically, to this day, men do not live as long as women. Because the amount of men that you see today and the amount of longevity that they have today is the action of men artificially creating things to have them live longer. Marriage was one of the number one things that was facilitated in place to allow men to live longer. I just read a study today that showed that when men sleep next to women, they have lower blood pressure, they have lower instances of depression, they have lower instances of anxiety. Women have the same thing when they sleep beside a dog. Not a man, a dog. So women have less anxiety, lower blood pressure, lower cases of depression when they sleep beside a dog. The reason why men are able to live as long as they do is because of the life force energy that they have been able to suck out from women from the beginning of time. Men were never supposed to be living as long as they are living now. Men were not supposed to be living past 30. This is where we go back into their androgens decreasing by the time they turn 30. They not only have a biological clock, they have a life existence clock. Testosterone is the main core hormone to make a man a man. They don't have other hormones in surplus like women do, with our progesterone, our estrogen, our small levels of testosterone. Which is why men have to have a cycle that is 24 hours. They're only really working with one main hormone, which is testosterone. It's like you brushing your teeth every day. The reason why you need to brush your teeth every day is because you're chewing food, you have bacteria, germs, you have a lot of things that are happening orally where you would need to have that reset. When your body only has one main hormone to work off of to keep everything intact, it has to work harder to be able to keep it together because that's all that it has. So when men do not have this, as they get older, it causes a lot of issues for them. These issues were eradicated by unaliving these men very early in life. Because testosterone is good for one thing and one thing only. It is the fertilizer to the egg to be able to create life. The male is not needed in any other capacity outside of that. Your protector, your provider were artificial titles that were created to give men a place in society, to give them value in order to be attached to women that had to have resources robbed from them to have them live longer. It is not a coincidence that married men are the happiest and they live longer. Because without the life force energy of a woman, they would be dead a lot sooner. Because their body is not supposed to be here for a long time. They are not supposed to be inhabiting the earth after their genes have been passed down.
This is about a wealthy friend of mine who was mistaken as a financially challenged individual, and a guidance counselor was fired because of it. So I'm going to give a little bit of a backstory here. I worked with this woman, and we were out one day, and she's like, hey, let's stop by my mom and dad's house to grab something real quick. And I'm like, okay, great. So we drive up to this palatial house in this palatial neighborhood, and it was very fancy. And I'm like, okay, she was raised different than me. And this was the home she grew up in. And so we go in, and there's a giant staircase, huge, beautiful staircase. And on either side of that are these two huge rooms that they don't use. And both of those rooms are significantly bigger than any of the homes that I've ever had in my life or grew up in. So then we walk through a doorway, and this is where they lived. And that was also huge. And then there was another giant, beautiful staircase. And I'm like, holy crap, there's two staircases, like two beautiful staircases, just to get the point across. And so then her mom is like, what would you like to drink? And I was like, well, what do you have? And she goes, just tell me what you want to drink. I'm like, okay. And I said, well, how about a root beer? And so then she proceeds to pull out this beautiful frosty mug from the freezer. I just randomly said root beer. She pulls out this beautiful frosty mug, and then she pours me a root beer out of a glass bottle. And then she puts the fanciest, prettiest little red striped straw in it and hands me this root beer. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, I did not grow up like this. And let me just preface the fact that, like, what did I say? Because you're not allowed to say certain words anymore. So I said financially insecure, financially challenged was the proper word. So I grew up financially challenged. My mom was very much like, hone that in. We have nothing. We have no money, nothing. Bah. Everything's so hard and it's all your fault. You know, I don't know why it's my fault, because she never spent 2 cents on me and I didn't ask to be there. I hated it. And so I did not grow up like this. I don't think there was ever a root beer in my house, and there certainly was no frosty mugs. So I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. And I was very close friends with this coworker. And then I'm looking in their backyard, and I was like, wow, your backyard is huge. And they both giggle, and they're like, yeah, that's a golf course. And I'm like, of course it is. Of course it's a golf course. And so then also eventually I visited her grandparents' house in a different state. And of course they had the nicest house in the whole town, and they were very wealthy as well. And so my point is that this woman had only experienced extreme wealth in her life. Cut to her picking her kid up from school one day, and she lived in one of the, if not the fanciest suburb of the city that we lived in. And the school was very small. The suburb was very little, and everybody that lived there was extremely wealthy. And so she's picking up her child from school, and the guidance counselor hears her. She told me this story. So it was brilliant. She was so appalled. The guidance counselor hears her. She's like, hey, is that so-and-so? And she goes, yeah, it's me. And she goes, oh, wait a second. I have something for you. And she's like, okay. And so the guidance counselor proceeds to come out of her office with 2 giant grocery bags full of food. So it was the holidays. Thanksgiving was coming up. And she was telling me, she's like, I was like kind of mortified. I was a little confused, and I was offended. But in that moment, I was just like, okay, just be grateful. Like, you're not sure what's happening. Let's just be grateful. So then the guidance counselor proceeds to tell her, we just want to make sure that you and your child are taken care of during the holidays. We want all of our families to have nice holidays. And so we put together something for you. They assume this woman, 2 staircases, giant palatial house, wealth for decades, like generations, wasn't going to be able to have a Thanksgiving dinner for her and her son. And so she was like, the only way that they would have been able to assume that is if they were judging the way I looked. So her look was very curated. She had a kind of a punk rock thing going on. She was an artist. She had crazy hair. She wore like kind of crazy worn out clothes, and she always had on like Chuck Taylors and stuff. And so she wasn't she didn't have a high-end appearance. And almost every other person, that was rare for that suburb. Every other person had like a very high-end fancy appearance. It wore very fancy things. And so they just made the assumption that she was financially challenged to where she wasn't going to be able to support her child and for the holidays, or feed her child for the holidays. And she was like, I go home and I open up these bags of groceries, and she's like, it was everything. She goes, they had turkey, they had pie, they had all the sides. She goes, it was kind of fancy. They gave me everything I would need. And she was like, I was so angry that they just assumed. And she like made sure that it wasn't, she's like, they didn't do this for everybody at the school. They just picked out a few of us, and we're like, oh, these folks, just based on appearances, are going to need our help. So she tells me, she's like, I wrote a very well worded, I wasn't angry. I didn't say mean things about anybody. She's like, I wrote a very well worded email. I sent it to the superintendent. I sent it to the principal. I sent it to the guidance counselor. I sent it to anybody who I felt like needed to hear this. And she's like, I just told them like how I felt about it. I didn't understand why it happened, how I felt like I was judged based on my appearance. I was offended that they thought that I couldn't provide for my kid. And, I understand there are some people that can't. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's not at all. And I'm not judging people who can't. I understand that. Like I said, I grew up in a financially challenged environment. I understand this. But I'm just giving you the perspective of a wealthy person as it was told to me. So she sends this email, and I said, so what happened? She's like, I never saw the guidance counselor again. I'm pretty sure she was fired. So be careful. Be careful when you think you're just being nice and generous to people and you don't know them very well, because you may get fired because this person who grew up with the 2 staircases and the giant fancy home, you done pissed them off, and they're gonna make sure you pay for it. So be careful. I've heard stories where other schools have done this and really pissed off parents too, and they just do it based on appearances. So yeah, that was that.
When I talk about the childhood sexual abuse that I endured as a little girl by my dad, the most common response that I get is, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. And obviously, that's a normal response. But what I think so many people don't understand, especially people that didn't live some similar situations, similar abuse as a child, was that it wasn't the sexual acts and the things that my dad did to me that was the most difficult to face. It was the loneliness of it. Like, I used to envy kids that don't take this the wrong way, but that was sexually abused and had another parent say their dad sexually abused them, their mom found out, their mom made sure to get justice, and that girl went on to grow up and have her mother, and I'm sure that gave them an even closer bond. But in my case, I didn't have that. My mom abandoned me with this freaking man, never came back, and I didn't have any other family, so we went into the system. And the system was the loneliest place a kid can ever be, because most foster parents, in my experience, are there to just give you a roof over your head, give you food to eat, and make sure that you continue your education through middle school, high school. And without those nurturing parents that care about you finding your identity and coming into your own identity, it just goes back to where I talked about when I went into that group home, and the schools that I was in were mainly blacks, Hispanics, and I would use my allowance money to buy Air Forces, anything I would want to fit in. And it wasn't so much that I wanted to fit in, it's just I didn't have my own identity. So I became, wherever I was, I became the person I needed to be so that I fit in. And because I didn't have much of an identity before I even went into the system, my identity pretty much revolved around being who my dad needed me to be and doing these sexual things with him. I did have just a small part of my identity that I had came into where I love to read, I love to write. I used to love writing poems. But when I came into the foster care system, every bit of that was just like taken because I was so much in survival mode and trying to fit in and be who I needed to be in each home, each school, that that little part of me was just suppressed in me. It's these children who face sexual abuse by a parent and they don't have that extra family to take them in after what they already endured and nurture them and get them back on the path of being a child. It's probably the loneliest path that I think anybody could ever face, and that's why so many survivors, I think, do turn to drugs, alcoholism, sex, because it is such a lonely and dark place. And I want to add with that, I read somewhere that PTSD, that a lot of victims face that fear of authority, which I have talked about in another video, that like I fear law enforcement, judges, like I shut down anytime I come around one of them. But I was like that in foster care too, and I wanted to bring up a foster home that I lived in where it was an older man, a foster dad, that used to wear the loosest shorts and he didn't wear boxers underneath them, and his balls would always be like hanging out, and he would like sit there and twist his balls. And he had his own little separate room where he watched TV and stuff, and he would tell us come in there watch TV with him, and he always wanted us to like sit in his lap. And I remember it would make me so uncomfortable, but I was so afraid to like say something because I always felt like, well, if I say something, then my foster mom's probably gonna be like, well, why was you looking down there? It just goes back to like me being in that group home and working at that dentist office at 13, and there was these jailers that came out and did their work detail, and a man took advantage of me. One of these jailers took advantage of me and talked me into having sex with him, and I was the one who got in trouble. I got extra chores at the group home. I had earlier bedtime, and when you grow up and like you face that over and over, you become like so afraid to speak up because you're afraid that you're going to get blamed. And when I think back on every bit of my childhood, it makes so much sense why I would get into a relationship where the partner would be the one that was controlling. He was like the dominant partner in the relationship. He was the authority figure in the relationship. He told me what I could wear, what I couldn't wear, like who I could talk to, who I couldn't talk to. And no wonder I shut down and I suppressed my voice, because he was that more like authority like figure even in our relationship. And I can see why I got stuck. To connect with other survivors, or if you're a survivor of childhood abuse, did you go through similar things? If you went through the foster care system afterwards, or like did you have those same feelings as I just talked about? Because I feel like that it probably is such a common thing that kids go through after being sexually abused by an authority figure, by your dad, and just like how that really just carries into your rest of your teenage years. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to appreciate everybody that has been here to listen to my voice, my newfound voice, because I tell you, 5 years ago, there was no way I could have spoke so openly about what I went through, because of that still fear of like somebody judging me or somebody blaming me. And thankfully I've grown such a thick skin through everything that I've lived through, that even those few comments like that, they don't get to me. But I really do appreciate the support, and I finally feel comfortable enough that I am going to start doing lives and start answering questions and hopefully connect with other survivors. And I can't go live on this account because my son got me banned years ago. He was using my account to go live, and he was under 16, and I didn't really use the app at that time, so I didn't appeal it, and now it's too late to appeal. So I'm going to link my backup account, which will be the account that I go live on. So if you want to follow that account, and I believe that I'll probably start doing my lives tomorrow. And for anybody who is interested in the lives, if you can please give me a hand raise and let me know like good times. That way maybe I can find a middle ground. I do plan on sharing things that I won't be posting on my account page, because it's not something that I just want put out in the public constantly and everybody to view, but there are other things I plan on going into details about there.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm in recovery. I'm also an addict. I'm in recovery. I've been sober for a little over 4 years. Let's get ready for bed while I talk to you guys about something that happened yesterday about my sobriety. So a little bit of context. Yesterday I was at work. If you're new here, I work in racing. So I was at a NASCAR race yesterday, and the driver that I work for won the championship. It was very exciting. Champagne spraying, confetti, like just so much stuff going on. We were all really, really pumped, and something that people obviously like to do when they win is go out and celebrate, and this was a really big deal. So we were kind of all at the track and just talking about like, oh my gosh, are we gonna go out? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna celebrate? And I was like pretty excited. Like this was a really big deal, and like I talked about in a previous video, I don't really go out that much anymore unless there's a greater purpose. So for instance, like last night, going out and celebrating that would have been a greater purpose. If I was just going out to be around the alcohol, that's different. But if I was going out to celebrate something larger, that is something I'm comfortable with. So we're all chit-chatting, like, what's the plan? Are we going out? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows I'm sober, right? And somebody kind of said something to me, and they were like, wait, but like you're sober. And like my next question was like, okay, so this is like not a knock to this person at all. Like this person is my friend, this person's great. I'm just saying, like, it was just an interesting conversation that honestly reminded me so much of like when I first stopped drinking. And I feel like I handled this situation so much different than I would have like 7 or 8 years ago. Anyway, this person was like, you don't drink. And I said, yeah, so. And I can't remember exactly what they said, but it was something to the effect of like, but like, how are you gonna go out? This stuff like doesn't horribly bother me anymore. But I just looked at them and I said, I'm sober. I'm not dead. I can still go out and do stuff. I can be around alcohol. I go and celebrate something if there's like a larger purpose. Like this was a big deal. I wanted to go and celebrate. Obviously I wouldn't be drinking, but I can still be in the environment and just have the camaraderie with everybody. Anyway, I felt bad. Like I didn't want to make them feel dumb or anything. We like laughed about it, but it was just funny because it just like reminded me the beginning of my sobriety. People were just so confused by this phenomenon, especially being in college, especially being 21, especially guys were super confused by this phenomenon of me going out and not drinking. Like, oh my God, like mind blown. Like somebody's at the bar and they're not getting blackout drunk. Like I know it's a shocker. I don't know. I just think about our society and like so crazy now, like how centered things can and have become around alcohol when it really doesn't need to be. Like it's just funny that I was like, yeah guys, where are we gonna go out and celebrate? And the first thing that comes to people's mind with celebrating is alcohol. And I get it, it's like a historical thing. That's like what people do when they celebrate. But you can celebrate and do fun stuff and be in the moment and be with other people and not drink. You can be sober and do these things. You guys, look at me, I'm doing it. I literally work in racing. I'm at different racetracks every weekend, something I never thought I would be able to do when I was drinking. Here I am, and I can only do it because I'm sober. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were like laughing about it. I was not mad at the person. Like, it was funny. And somebody else said to me, like, well, so you really can't just like have one. Just like a really perfect, like real life example of like how like I handle situations when they come up like this. When people ask, can't you drink? Don't you just have one? Like, I will never stop getting these questions. Sure, they're definitely like more few and far between now that like the entire internet knows I'm sober. Definitely still get them. I just answered this person and I was like, no, I can't just have one, because if I have one, then it turns into two and it turns into a million. I start doing really stupid things. I'm very clear. I have no reservations, no lurking notion on the fact that Jordan cannot just have one drink. Luckily, it didn't bother me when they were saying that. We were like all kind of laughing about it. I was not mad at these people. Like, it was honestly funny. And it just made me like think back about the beginning of my sobriety, right? When I was 21, freshly sober, and guys would be like, do you want to go out? Oh no, like I forgot you don't drink. And back then I would have been like, you guys, it's fine. I can hang. Like I'm cool. Now I can just look at somebody and say, I'm sober. I'm not dead. Getting sober is not a death sentence. Like it's actually like a rebirth. For me, I would not be able to do any of the things I'm doing if I was drinking. There's no way I would not be able to, one, hold down a job at all, let alone work in an environment where there's a lot of alcohol. There's celebrations, there's people drinking in the fan zone. Like there's always alcohol around these events, and that's okay. That's like the nature of the world. There's going to be things out there. I didn't get sober to not enjoy my life. I got sober to have a second chance. I got sober to enjoy my life. That person saying that, it really, really got me reflecting. And I was just like, I'm not dead. I'm just sober. If anything, I'm more alive, you know? Like, I don't know. If you think you can't get sober and still have fun, I can only speak from my own experience, but I am telling you guys, I have so much fun every single day. I love being sober. I love being alive now. Because when I was drinking and I was just a slave to alcohol and dry goods and it was all I could think about in my life, literally revolved around it. And I just told a story where I changed a flight to come home 2 hours earlier to go to a party where there was a guy I thought my boyfriend was going to be and we could drink together and then date. You guys, this guy was not my boyfriend. I met him once. I kissed him one time. Okay? That is how my life was. I'm making crazy decisions, spending money, doing everything, having my life revolve around the party. Revolve around the party. Where are the boys going to be? How can I be in front of everybody? How can I be the coolest? Like, I don't have to live like that today anymore, you guys. I can just be myself and celebrate when I want to celebrate and do all of it sober. I don't have to drink to have fun. I don't have to drink to be worth something. I don't have to drink to be one of the guys or like the cool girl. I can just be Jordan. The people that I'm for. And the people that I'm not for, and that's okay. I don't know if that's helpful at all. That was just like, it just totally got me thinking, dude. And I was just like, damn, like, I used to be so limited in my thinking where I thought that being sober meant no fun. I was so wrong. Being sober is the most fun. I've never had more fun in my life. Oh, and tomorrow I'm going somewhere. I'm not going to tell you guys where. You have to guess. Love you guys. Bye.
You know what's worse than a mean girl? An undercover mean girl. Okay? I want to show you how to spot one, okay? And it's 2025, almost 2026. I feel like if you're gonna be a mean girl, at least own it, you know what I mean? Like, I own it. JK, I'm not overall a mean girl, but I know how to be one when it's necessary. Okay, number one, look out for the bitches who are constantly bragging about how they're such a girl's girl and how they're so nice and how they're always defending women and they're on women's side and like, I'm such a girl's girl and I'm so much better than you because I'm a girl's girl. Like the bitches that make their whole fucking personality about being a girl's girl, those are the ones that you need to watch out for because it's a fucking act. For example, we see this a lot with influencers who like brand themselves on like, you know, being super nice and being a girl's girl and you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they get outed for like being a bitch behind closed doors. Like the girls who use being a girl's girl as, you know, an excuse to tear other women down, which is so like contradicting. Here's a good example. Let's say, you know, somebody claims to be like this big girl's girl and stuff like that, but then they talk about how like they can't listen to, let's use SZA as an example, because she seems so fucking miserable because she keeps going back to the man who has like lied to her and manipulated her and cheated on her and blah 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 and calling her miserable and stuff like that. Because what it sounds like to me is you're tearing a woman down who is a victim of mental abuse. I don't know, that doesn't give very like nice girl to me, very girl's girl to me. My ex-friends was like that, and that shit used to piss me the fuck off because what are you talking about? Another clear indicator that somebody is a mean girl on the low is if they use being I'm gonna say girl's girl a lot in this video but is if they use being a girl's girl as an excuse to constantly tear you down. For example, let's say you just bought a new outfit and you absolutely love it, you think it looks amazing, you feel really confident in it, but then your friend comes to you and she's like, oh, you know, I'm just trying to help you, but that outfit looks horrible on you, like you need to go change, like if you want to be seen as this or that, or like if you want this guy's attention or whatever the fuck, you know, if you don't want to be embarrassed, like you need to change your outfit. I'm just looking out for you as a friend because I'm a girl's girl. And I guess you can use the excuse of friends like that are your real friends because they wouldn't let you walk outside looking crazy. Well, there's a difference between, you know, actually looking out for your friend and if they ask your opinion, like, hey, does this look good on me? And you're like, no, it's not my vibe. Like, that's okay. That's understandable. You know what I mean? That's being a good friend. Being honest is being a good friend, but just being a fucking bitch. This outfit's like actually literally horrendous, but it depends on the delivery, you know what I mean? And last but not least, the perfect undercover mean girl will always find a way to victimize themselves in every fucking situation, even when they're wrong, and always get away with it because they're just that good. And you know who was a perfect fucking example of this? Selena Gomez, and I will not be elaborating further. You can do your own research. Anyways, here's the final makeup. I'm so glad October is over because I am so tired of doing crazy makeup. I'm glad I could do my own makeup again.
If you thought you were bad on Halloween weekend last night, let me introduce you to me. So as you can tell, I was allegedly a scarecrow. I was pretty fucking scary though, and it wasn't just my makeup that was on last night. It was my behavior. That was even scarier than the fucking costume. Still got it on too, as a war weapon, and I have a bruise too. I don't know if that's part of the scarecrow costume or what I got scared by last night, but there's a huge fucking knot on my leg. This story is an extremely fresh one, so just bear with me. Once again, about 12 hours ago, because Halloween weekend does not stop. Day 2, right? So Halloween weekend used to be my shit. By used to be my shit, I guess it's still my shit because I behaved the same way that I did the years prior, but it used to really be my, I used to be my shit, I just mean I was better at benders, okay? Since then, I've tried to cool down on benders a little bit. Keep in mind, I still love to go out, and baby, a Saturday is my day of the week. Abso-fucking-lutely, okay? In college me, oh, I was going out Thursday, Saturday, and then Sunday brunch. Don't know where the money came from. I think I was paying a Monopoly bucks. I don't know, the McDonald's Monopoly game. That's what I was giving them, and they were giving me rumple shots in return. So I went to DC for day 1 of Halloween weekend. I already made a story time about that. This was day 2, and once again, for day 1, I was drunk, yeah. But not like really, really drunk. It was just like, okay, like you've been drinking a lot, you're seeing stuff, you're not falling over, but you're also definitely not sober, right? Drove home hungover as shit. Like I needed an oil change. Like that's what I looked like. Not my car. I needed the oil change. Like I was twitching out so bad and I was creaking when I would like talk. Like my voice would creak. Then lo and behold, my second friend group proceeded to say, oh, now you're back in the city. Now we're going out on Saturday too. I locked myself in my room that entire fucking day. By entire day, I literally mean the entire. This was Saturday day because I was hungover from Friday. Did not see the light of day. I DoorDash food and I don't even DoorDash. I really fucking don't unless I'm at work. But that's how I knew it was bad. I literally DoorDash food and like I like waited till the dasher walked away and then I creakily walked downstairs. That was a hassle for me to walk downstairs. And then I get a text in the big group chat saying pregame at 8 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock and I still don't know what's going on. Now I did this cute little thing for Halloween and I ordered 8 different costumes, but it was 8 entanglements. Like they all look a mess, but the whole entire game plan is to return them the next day, right? Because baby, I don't have money for that. I'm role playing with Monopoly bucks on Amazon right now, just hoping the charge goes through. But I'm not wearing all those costumes. And plus, even the ones I'm wearing, return, they didn't fit apparently, okay? Allegedly. Hey, Jeff Bezos, they did not fit. So it hits around 7 o'clock and I'm like, oh shit. Because I don't know which out of the 8 messy ass ugly costumes I'm gonna be wearing. What do I do? Because also, like I said, I ordered 8 different costumes, but I didn't try a single one on either. So do they fit? This is gonna be such a scary experience for me. I'm trying on all different types of things. I'm putting on trench coats. Like they don't even fit. I'm giving like Sherlock Holmes, but like the whole costume is supposed to be like a scarecrow. So I take off the trench coat. Suddenly I'm picking out which underwear carefully. You can't even see my underwear. I have low-rise jeans, high-rise jeans, boots, but not even my boots, my mom's boots. And I'm like, hold on, no, I'm not wearing my mom's boots. This isn't a drag show. Like the whole situation is very fucked up. Finally, I come to the decision I'm going to be a scarecrow and I'm wearing a witch hat with the scarecrow costume. Perfect. At this point, it's hitting 8:30. My group chat is blowing up at this point. Like, where the fuck are you, Dylan? Lock the fuck in. Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And I'm like, oh, okay. Also, at this point, I barely have been drinking water the whole day. Like, I do this to myself. I'm a horrible ass influence. Don't do any, like, that's what I'm here as an influencer to do. Like, I'm influencing you to do anything that I do. But I haven't drank water the entire day. I motorboated some DoorDash. Like, I'm dehydrated. I don't look, but I drive to my friend's house with a heavy fucking heart. And I walk into my friend's house after her dog, you know, barking and shit. I'm angry too. The dogs were mad. I'm mad. Walked inside with my head down. Everybody's screaming, ah, let's start drinking. All right. I have vodka because I'm a vodka girly at heart. I start making my drinks. And when I go out with this group specifically, it's just something in the air. Like I have to become my worst version of myself. Worst version drunk at that. Like sober, we're all holding hands and like doing affirmations and shit. Drunk, Corilla DeVille. That's what the fuck I am. So I start mixing vodka with Sprite, which is very, very, very dangerous for me. Very dangerous. Everybody else has a high noon, a Surfside, a Sunside, a sunny day, a cafe. I don't know. They all have like canisters of shit. I'm doing straight vodka and Sprite. And then every 2 minutes, we got my friend's boyfriend saying, well, actually fiance now. Oh, I love him. He's like, shot o'clock, shot o'clock, shot o'clock. Baddie, no. No shot o'clock. Only shot that I need is to get put down at the vet. Like, that's what I need, okay? But I'm doing every shot o'clock. Yes. Finally gets to the point, it's like 9:30, 9:45, and we're like, okay, time to peel out. We all get in the car somehow. Somehow, one of my friend's boyfriends was sitting on her lap. I don't know. There's like somehow like 8 people in the back. Not actually 8, but it felt like 8, right? But I'm drunk, so I don't care. So I'm laughing. I'm like, all right, like, come on. Like, it takes 8 people to tango, I guess. Let's all lap up. And once again, my friend's fiance, normally we drink on the way down, if that makes sense. Usually it's my friend's fiance that drives us down and he doesn't drink like that. So very much he will drive us down because he's the only sober. And we'll usually pregame in the car more too because we have a lot of issues. But he has a rental car right now. So we weren't allowed to like drink in the car when driving down there, which is perfect. All the signs are looking like I'm going to have a good night and I'm not going to black. I actually got to the point of the pregame. One of my friend's boyfriends looked at me and he was like, oh, like you're going to be sloppy tonight. Like I will give you $50 if you're not sloppy. And I was like, $50? Hell yeah, I just won't drink like that. We get down to the city. And when we got down to the city, the first bar we went to, oh, you could not breathe in that bar at fucking all. Like, bitch, it was body to body. I was at a rave. Like, okay, what's going on? Like, you fully could not move. We tried to go into the bar. It looked like a line at Costco, babe. Not gonna work. So we look at each other and we're like, okay, let's go to another bar, which usually that bar is really, really busy too. But we walked past it and it looked dead as fuck. So we're like, okay, we'll go drink at this bar where like no one's really at right now. So we'll be able to get served easier. And then we'll come back to the really bumping bar. We never made it back. We end up going to the bar that was like not busy at all, walking there. And once again, I'm feeling sober at this point. Everyone's pretty much sober. But something about me and the bar scene, I can't be sober in the bar scene because I'll get very angry. People are bumping into me. Oh, I'll feel that, right? If I'm drunk, I won't feel that. I'll be invincible apparently. So I float like a Sinister movie. Like literally I blink and like my legs levitate and I go to the bar. And I swear I didn't even do this, but like somehow the word rumple just flew out of my mouth. Rumple mints. 99 proof. I got a shot of that. and a vodka Sprite. Down that shit, and then I get a second shot of Rumple Mints and another vodka Sprite, right? You seen the theme? Keep in mind, at this point, I'm 2 shots in. I still feel sober, right? I'm Iron Man. Nothing is fucking affecting me, right? Let's keep doing my thing. It's actually kind of cool. Like, I'm at the bar for once and I'm not like slipping and sliding like I'm at an ice skating rink. Like, it's not Disney on ice. It's just Dylan sober. Okay, I like that. I'm remembering conversations, like I'm chatting, I'm seeing people I know, I'm hugging them, I'm not falling into them and headbutting them. And then the last thing I remember was one of my friend's boyfriends saying, oh, let me buy you like a vodka Sprite. Like, I got you. Like, he was like in our group and I was like, okay, hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. I'm already 4 deep. 5th isn't gonna hurt. 5 is an odd number and I should have known that. Even is my thing. Okay. I remember drinking that one. That was it. A wrap. Literally a fucking wrap. I don't really remember anything except for I was down in the city still and then all my friends went home, okay? And this isn't shade to them at all. Like, I just know that they left and I was still there. Probably told them to go without me like it was some Titanic shit. I don't know. And then the rest of the recollection is actually told from my boyfriend this morning. I woke up this morning with this on my face, a huge bruise on my leg and no will to live. And my nails all effed up, and some of my rings missing. And my phone at 2%. And then I go onto it's 1:20 p.m. keep in mind when I wake up too. I don't sleep that long. And I go onto my phone and I see me calling different people 8 different times. I called my friend and her fiance like 8 different times saying, please, 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 because they had my keys. Because once again, I left my keys at their house. Because normally I come back to their house, but I did not this time. My sweet, compassionate, loving boyfriend, who actually should be hurting me right now, looks over at me. He was like, yeah, you were mad at me last night. He drove 2 hours to come pick me up. And he picked me up from the city. And from his recollection, I was with a girl that's not even in my friend. This blonde girl that I knew her in high school. Wasn't even like, me and her had like a moment that we were like good friends, but like we weren't like best of friends. Love her to death though, but apparently I was with her and he pulls up and I was in a grass patch, just like on the ground. And she was standing there like, yeah, like and then apparently I got in his car and I was like, why are you mad at me? And he was like, I'm not mad at you. Granted, he probably was a little like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like belligerent as fuck. And I kept asking him, why are you mad at me? He's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. And then I guess I sensed a little bit of attitude from one little word that he said. And I said, game over. And I said, let me out the car. And I started yelling at him to let me out the car. And he didn't let me out the car because he's a kind, compassionate person who I ruined his life last night. And then according to him, we got home, but I wouldn't get out of the car. It took me 35 minutes to 40 minutes to get out of the car. And then I had to bang on my door for my mom to let us in. And the second she opened the door, I fell onto the ground. My mom watched the whole ordeal. My mom actually had to help me with my boyfriend to get me upstairs. This is so not a good fucking look, like at all. Check my bank account. I spent over $100 last night. Bingo, 100 I don't have. My Halloween costume that I wore last night, the alleged scarecrow, it's all mangled up. And I spent $60 on that costume, so now I can't return it because it's all mangled up. Pretty sure my ID's missing. I think it's somewhere in my house, but I don't have it on my person right now. And I think my friends are all mad at me right now. Yeah. Haven't heard a peep from any of them yet. So, let's see. And also, I don't have my car. My car's at my friend's house alongside my keys. So I don't know how I'm going to leave my house at all. I'm staring at my house right now. Yeah, the door's open, but I don't have my keys. Oh, also don't have my $2,000 camera either. I don't have that either. Last thing I remember, it was in the car. I don't have that. I'm smiling right now so I don't start crying. And also the amount of anxiety. Oh, here's another thing. I check my Snap story and I see videos of me and my childhood best of us kissing. Okay. I never kiss my friends when I'm drunk, but I put that on my main story. Also, cryptic pictures of my Snap memories of me on the street. I need to go somewhere. I don't know if it's jail or what. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of this town.
What if you bought your wife a home and it was beautiful, it was what you could afford, and she says she doesn't want it and you could have done better? He says, I surprised my wife with the house that I wanted to purchase. The thing is, I didn't buy it. I was thinking about buying it. So I took her to see it and told her I had put in an offer on it and it was accepted and it was now our home. We rent. Neither of us has ever owned a home. It was going to be our first home that we bought in general. It was something that we both had always wanted. Now we both work, but I make the bulk of the money and I pay all the bills. All she does is pay for groceries. Now the budget was big enough to get anything that we wanted in a house. She was looking for homes that were out of our price range. And I told her, no, that's not an option. She didn't think I was serious. I would meet her at homes with the realtor, and then the realtor would say the price, and I would say, no, Tasha, that is not in our budget. And she would say, oh, it's fine, we could spend some more. Yes, the bank approved us for more, but I didn't want to go that high because I don't like living above my means. And I'm huge on saving. And I always told myself if anything was to ever happen in life, I wouldn't be able to struggle to pay for a home that I knew I couldn't afford when I bought it. So I said, let me see what she would do if I just bought a house that was still beautiful, but in our budget. So I did. I had her meet me at a house, and I told her that I had put in an offer on it, and it was accepted, and it was ours. She flipped out and said, that's not what I want. She's not moving into that house. She said that I was cheap, and I should buy a house that I could actually afford, and it's called leveling up.
Join the live and comment LeBron James.
Storytime is from one of my supporters. I'm just a fly on the wall, so just fucking listen. This story is told from a girl, but I'm just gonna call her my home girl throughout this story. So boom, I got this home girl. She started off being fast at the early age of 16. When I say fast, I'm talking about Usain Bolt fast in a fucking 40. She wasn't hunching, she wasn't doing no kissing, but she was leading a lot of niggas on. Also, when I mean fast, I'm talking about she in the party throwing straight butt. Just know when any twerking song come on at the party, she gonna be the first one on the floor. Alright, so boom, speaking of a party, her cousin had invited her to go to a party. Alright, so boom, gonna fast forward, they get into the party, they looking around, they don't really see a lot of people, but they just, you know what I'm saying, just vibe. It was my homegirl vibing, she looking around, and she see this dude. The way she described this nigga, he gotta look like Michael B. Jordan. He was cute, brown skinned, a little older, and he had a little deep voice on. As my homegirl vibing at the party, she said the dude keeps staring at her like he can't keep his eyes off her. So she look around looking for her cousin so she could tell her cousin that this nigga keeps staring at her. Her cousin kind of boosting up the situation like, oh my God, he is cute, girl. You need to go talk to him. My homegirl like, hell no, I don't go up to no dude first. I let them come to me. And that's on period. As you should, clock that T-bitch. All night throughout this party, this dude kept on looking at my homegirl. He was on her body bad. I'm already knowing what was on his mind. He got to have her bad. So boom, damn near at the end of the party, the boy ended up walking up to my homegirl. Walked up to my homegirl. He like, hey, I just want to let you know that you look real good. My homegirl like, thank you, but how old you is? Because you look a little older. He hesitated and said, you know what? How old are you? Now, I'm not going to yeah, that's a red flag right there. She ended up telling him her age. She ended up saying that she was 16. He ended up saying, oh, I'm not that older than you. I'm 17. The party getting ready to end. He ended up asking my homegirl, can he have her number? I know all females, they got to play hard to get. She like, nah, you can't have my number. You can get my Instagram, though. I'm not going to yeah, if that was me, I would have told her, I don't even want your ugly ass no more. Get the fuck out my face. But I would have said to myself silently. But bro ended up just saying, okay, you know what I'm saying? Let me get your Instagram. All right, so probably like a day or two later, he ended up DMing her. Bro ended up sliding in her DM with some smooth shit. I ain't even gonna lie, I don't even be on Instagram like that, and I really want to fuck with you, so I was just wondering if I can get to your number. But my homegirl was thinking about saying no, but she was just like, she want to fuck with him too, because he looked so damn good. She ended up giving him the number, and they started texting till their motherfucking fingers fell off. To my literally everything was perfect. They damn near fell in love with each other like the first week of them talking. Boom, my homegirl and them saying they started liking each other so much, so it came to a time that they wanted to link up with each other. But mind you, they both young, so it's like, where they gonna link up at? Neither one of them had a car, nor did they have a place where they can link up at. One night, they got on the phone all night trying to figure out how they gonna link up with each other. Dude ended up telling my homegirl, like, I can't have company though. My mama be tripping hard. Homegirl ended up saying, shit, my mama be tripping too. I'm not gonna lie, the little nigga smart, because he ended up asking her, can she sneak him in her crib? He ain't going for that shit. My homegirl like, yeah, my mama be at work, so shit, I might can sneak you in my crib. So boom, I'ma fast forward probably like a month later, she ended up trying to sneak him in the crib. I'm talking about my homegirl was so bold and ready, she snuck him in the front door. Homegirl let him in the crib and they ended up going up to her room. Homegirl said immediately when he laid down, she started staring at him. She said she started getting turned on. She said that Noonie Cat started getting wetter than Niagara Falls. So boom, she ended up going over there and laying down with him. First, everything was chill. They were laying side by each other. Now, I don't know why every girl gotta wait till the dude make the first move. But that's exactly what my homegirl was doing, waiting on him to make the first move. She said she was turned on so much the whole time she was waiting. She really wanted to pull her panties down and start playing with that Noonie Cat in his face. After a while, she ended up just turning on the movie Friday. So boom, they just laying down watching the movie Friday, and he finally just put his arm around her. My homegirl got caught off guard when he put his hands around her. She started getting hot and ready just like a little Caesar pizza. Boy, fuck this Noonie Cat. What she said to herself silently. All right, so time went by. He ended up making another move and putting his hand down there by the Noonie Cat and started playing with it, started making macaroni sound. So she ended up moving his hand and stopped and telling him like, I got something to tell you. I'm not gonna, yeah, anytime a girl say that she got something to tell you, I always think the worst. Like, bitch, is you a man? Like, what the fuck do you gotta tell me so bad that it's gonna stop from me from playing this motherfucking Noonie Cat? So boom, little bro was like, man, what is? You can tell me what it is. She ended up saying that she was a virgin. Bro ended up saying, it's good, I'm gonna just take my time with you. He indeed did not take his time with her. So my bro put the little Duracell battery in and went crazy. My homegirl said she started getting thrashed. She wasn't even doing no attractor mode. She was in that bitch screaming, ah! Oh my God! It hurts so bad! He then said after a while, it started feeling good, so she started moaning actually like attractive. So boom, his homeboy in the Noonie Cat, her mama ended up calling her. Mama ended up calling her just to tell her that she finna get off work early. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my homegirl ended up kicking that nigga out just like Martin Dupan. My homegirl wanted to go again, but he had to go. He had to get the fuck. All right, probably like a day or two later, he ended up ghosting her. Homegirl wasn't really tripping, but she was on some shit like, damn, like, why you couldn't just tell a nigga like you ain't want to fuck with it? Like, if you just wanted to hit, then you could have just said that. Niggas, not really. You can't just say that shit. But my homegirl ended up telling her cousin that she went to the party with, that she first met the dude, that he ghosted her. Cousin started going in, and she was just like, man, he lame as fuck for doing all this. Start kind of like joking around, saying they're gonna jump him when they see him. So boom, probably like 2 weeks later, my homegirl family ended up throwing like a little backyard barbecue. But my homegirl walked in, then she ended up calling her cousin to see what her cousin was. She ended up seeing her cousin, and her cousin just had like a little small conversation, but then her cousin ended up saying that I gotta go to the bathroom. As soon as her cousin went to the bathroom, she looked to her left and then she looked to her right. She see the dude that took her V card hugging her family member. Now, my homegirl mind, she thinking like her cousin being messy as fuck, like she just invited the dude over just because she told him what he did. She ended up texting her cousin. She like, bitch, why you do that? And her cousin ended up texting back and said, do what? Homegirl ended up saying, you invited that boy after I told you what he did to me. Like, I didn't invite nobody. Why the fuck would I invite him after what he did to you? Like, that's weird. My homegirl watching him the whole time, he ended up shaking hands with her uncle. Then the dude ended up going to go hug her auntie, and then the auntie screamed out, oh my God, nephew, nephew. And they been talking about some long time no see, nephew. We ain't seen you in a long time. I'm to find out that was her cousin on her daddy's side that she never met. And she ended the story there. I'm not going to y'all. What I do want to know is, what the fuck did y'all do when y'all found out that y'all was cousins at the barbecue? Then my homegirl ended up saying she blocked him. What the fuck you block him for? He family now. Any questions, y'all?
If you are a woman who wants to see a change in your lifetime, then start now. Decenter men now. Reclaim your power now. You don't have to wait. You really don't. You don't have to wait for the rest of us. You can start right now in your home. Leave him at home with the kids and go on a girls' trip. And don't feel any shame about it, because that's a part of the brainwashing of the patriarchy. It's making women feel shame for doing things for themselves. Shame is a bullet in the gun of the patriarchy, and it is aimed at your temple. As women, we need to kickstart the evolutionary process for men, because it stopped prematurely when we started taking over for the things that they should have been doing naturally. Men are baby makers who should be in the home, but instead they're out prowling the streets and being violent toward women. That's why there's so much crime, because men are out of the house. They need to be in the house. Not only are they not in the house, but they're in charge of governments. Men have always needed to be contained in some way. This is the freest that men have ever been, and look at us. War, hunger, genocide, all because we let men out of the house. If you are a woman, take your power back now.
Females sabotage females every day, B. I mean like every single day. It really go like this. So say he's a pick-me girl, right? And you know what is a pick-me girl? A girl that actually stands on logics and not just feelings. That's what they call a pick-me girl. The one girl that's not wrapped up in her emotions and make her emotions control her. Yeah, that's a pick-me. So a girl or a group of girls will not like that girl. And instead of blocking her out of their view, they will befriend her, sabotaging one-on-one. So they do all of the little nice gestures, warm you up, season you in. We want to be friends with you. They will hype you up, make you feel like, yes, you're that friend that they actually need. And once them catch you in the group, boom, activation. Now them need to get your secrets. So all females normally catch other female secrets. They play themselves as victims first. So sometimes they use little jobs like, oh, this is what happened to me. Or they even make up some fake horrific stories about themselves just to make the girl get comfortable, like, yeah, all right, so if she tell me her business, then she's actually trusting me, so I should trust her too. That's actually a friend. Like, she'll literally work up your nerve in a the way where she want you to get comfortably enough to know, say, I'm your friend. And the minute you fall for that little mind game, that little scheme, boom, I got you. Once them catch you now in that little scheme, then them start poke little holes in your emotions. Then start use small little jabs, but it will come off as friendly because in your mind, we're friends now. Now, females tend to fall for that kind of trick, because it's always, oh, we're female bonding. Them never really yet think say a next girl really not like them. A lot of females actually think like them and them friend have mutual enemies. But they don't realize like they are their friend's enemy. So remember, stay on track. You're a pick-me girl. So once them get a full wrap around your emotions, like literally a good hold on your emotions, logics exit the door. You not think logical no more, because now them have a somewhat control over how you react, how you think, and how you feel. So even if you had accountability, you stand for morals, one thing certain people not understand in their life. If you don't know yourself, you literally won't understand certain games being played on you. And your mind frame will change. Your whole idea of life, perspective of life can be changed by someone else. So yeah, once the logic's gone, you don't know. Accountability gone. Them have full control of you. And you're cooked. You're no longer a logical person, a more understanding person. You're now oh, that girl is, look at her. Look what she's acting like a simpy for the guys. And you don't realize like that was you, mama. That was you at your highest state of form. And you just lowered yourself down to your friend's level. Well, she lowered you down to her level.